The Cold War in 60 seconds. World War II is over now, and it's time to decide what happens to Germany and the rest of Europe. The Soviet Union decides to add Eastern Europe to their empire, turning them into puppet states, while most of Western Europe decides to hitch their bets on the USA. Germany gets split into two, as does their capital Berlin, and for a few years it looks like World War III will break out sooner rather than later. But now both the United States and the Soviet Union have nuclear weapons, and World War III would probably mean the end of all civilization. So instead, they decide to spend the next 50 years in more productive ways, like spying on each other and establishing puppet states in places like Vietnam and Korea, where the two sides can fight each other without actually fighting each other. Eventually, they get kind of bored with Earth and decide to race each other to the moon, with the United States getting there first and the Soviet Union never getting there at all. Nuclear war threatens to break out every once in a while, but nobody ever pushes the button. Eventually, the whole charade comes to an end when Germany knocks down the Berlin Wall and reunites, and the Soviet Union collapses 2 years later, creating about a dozen new independent nations, while the United States begins a new era as a pretty much uncontested hyperpower. Share with someone who you think could learn a thing or two.